everyone, welcome back to Low Desert Love. I am sitting in the makings of my raised bed for this summer growing season. You can see behind me, wrong side, these guys, see these green bags here? This is the first layer of my raised bed. Materials you can use to build a raised bed. You can use a whole lot of anything. Common things here in the low desert to use. These guys. Ugh. Big old brick things. Big cement cylinder blocks. Relatively cheap at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. Relatively cheap. Depending on how big of a bed you're making. This bed I am sitting in is 100 square feet of growing space. That is a lot of cylinder blocks. I did not already own enough to build the entire bed out of those, so I went with something that is relatively free to me, which is, oh Lord, bags of dirt. Sandbags. We have sandbags filled with dirt from our yard, because of another project we have going on. So, since we have a plethora of them, I'm using them to build my raised bed. Square foot gardening says you can grow in 6 inches. Successfully grow in, if you're using Mel's Mix, you can grow in 6 inches of dirt. We are going to put that to the test, because underneath that 6 inches is this stuff down here, this brown dirt, which has a layer of leafy crap on it, is rock solid. My plan is to wet it down a little, break it up a little with the pickaxe, because you need a pickaxe to break through the soil in my backyard, so that even when I do put down the 6 inches of mix in my garden, the plants still can continue to work their way down. The nutrients and the soil will help turn that top layer of clay. It will help break it down and help turn it into workable soil also. After an entire season of this bed being here and having stuff growing in it and the soil I'm going to add to it, if I were to take it out and take those 6 inches that I put in off, the soil underneath, the first, I'm hoping for the first inch, I don't know if it's going to be that deep, but the top layer of this old clay stuff that's here will hopefully have been broken down and have enough nutrients put back into it that it starts to turn into workable soil as well. I don't plan on taking this bed out. It is located under the natural canopy in my backyard. It is the best place to grow in the summer, and it's probably the best place to grow in the winter as well. So hopefully this bed can just stay here. Now, that is not always the case for people. Sometimes raised beds need to move. Sometimes you put them in not so smart places to begin with. The epic fails behind me over here are in a terrible place for growing, winter or summer, especially summer. Which is why they're no longer going to be there, because that, across this brick wall here, which is our fencing, takes all the sun all the time. Winter, summer, you name it, all the sun. All the sun and none of the sun. In the winter, because the sun is so far in the southern sky, there are places on that wall that don't see sun at all. None ya. No sun. You know how hard it is for plants to grow without sunlight? So, that is why it is important to know where the sun is in your backyard. But these sandbags that are making up this raised bed allow me to modify my bed anytime I want. Well, anytime I want to put in the back-breaking work of moving them. I can pick them up, I can change the shape, I can change the location. Cinder blocks, you could do the same thing. Easy peasy. Pick them up, change the shape, change the location. If you are going to make raised beds out of boards, out of lumber, out of, what is that, like that I don't want to say tin, that metal shelving that, you know, Walmart uses for their shelves. You can make raised beds out of that. You can make raised beds out of almost anything. Now, you have to be mindful that what you use, if you're using lumber, if you're using, you know, taking apart old dresser, it's possible that your lumber is treated with something. It is possible there's stains, there varnishes, there's chemicals involved that could leach into your soil and could leach into the water and could be sucked up by your plants. If that is something you are concerned about, I suggest you do research. The internet is vast. The internet, you can ask anything. There are forums. You will find them. Ask the internet anything. You can find the answer. You can also find diehards who spend their entire paycheck making sure their garden is 100% organic. I do not have that luxury. I have not won the lottery. I do not have lots and lots and lots of money to spend on things like that. My goal is to garden as organically as I am able to. If I have a mass infestation that is going to kill every living crop in here, and I can't take care of it organically, I have to make the choice. Do I want to kill the bugs and save my food and rinse the pesticide off later? Or do I want to let the bugs have it and waste all of my time, energy, and money? I'm going to kill the bugs. That being said, what you choose for your raised beds doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's going to be covered by plants anyway. And who's going to see it? Well, you're going to see mine. And these bags are green, which here in the desert, sometimes you don't see a lot of green, so I'm not mad about it. But don't be afraid. Get crafty. Get creative. Build your raised beds. If you're going to build Mel's Mix or buy Mel's Mix or a version of Mel's Mix, according to the book, which I have not read, by the way, 6 inches deep is all you need. This bed is going to be obviously more than 6 inches tall because I need a mulch layer. Here in Arizona, mulch will save your garden. The lack of mulch can kill your garden. So I need to leave enough room for the mulch as well as all of the soil. You also have to consider your watering system. You can buy square foot garden watering systems. Are they cheap? No. Are they like Legos and you piece them together and stick them in? Yes. That is money and investment. I'm going to put my money into the soil. I don't have the money to buy the prefab watering systems. Drip systems are cheap now. They're so common. They're not overly priced. That's time, that's energy. I'm not going that route. PVC. Making PVC watering systems is very easy. We happen to have a drill press. We happen to have a drill press, which makes drilling the holes in the PVC for the water to come out of a quick and easy thing for me to do. So that is the route I'm going. You will see that. I'll make a video showing putting that in. I'm going to be able to irrigate all 100 square feet of this garden for about 50 bucks. If I did the math right, with all the connectors, it'll be about 50 bucks. And I'll show you that when I put it in. So you have to consider that as well. You're going to need materials for the bed itself, and you're going to need your watering system. You can absolutely water by hand. If you don't need a watering system and you have a hose and a sprayer, you can water your garden by hand. That's absolutely acceptable. I don't have that luxury. That would take me forever. So don't be afraid, get creative, build your raised beds out of what you feel comfortable building them out of. If you have the money to invest in buying wood or kits, they make raised bed kits. Just do your research, make sure you know what kind of wood you want to buy. If you're going to use the cylinder blocks, these bad boys, just beware. Here in Arizona, those are made out of cement. Well, they're made out of cement everywhere, but cement sucks water. You will notice the soil that is butted up against that is probably going to be dry a lot because the cement sucks the water up. Also, they take heat. The outside of your bed is going to dry out faster, not only because the cement's leaching the water, but because that cement's heating up. If you are on top of your watering, it's not going to be that noticeable. But do be aware, those do produce heat. Don't plant little baby seedlings right up against them. In the dead heat of summer, they'll cook, and they won't survive. Also, if you're gardening here in Arizona, planting things in the summer against these walls, just beware, those walls put off heat. Do they provide shade? Absolutely. They provide sun protection, but if you've got little baby plants and those walls are putting off 100-degree heat, you very well could cook your plants. So do be mindful of planting with cement or near cement bricks. So thank you for coming along with me and talking raised beds with me. I hope to see you next time. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. And remember, if you're aiming to thrive, at the very least, you'll survive.